Did you ever hear the whispers about Whitney Houston's hidden love life? Rumors of a same-sex relationship swirled around the superstar.
I think so. They were very good friends.
Would it have bothered you if your daughter, Whitney, was gay?
Absolutely.
It would have bothered you?
A side of her life she never openly discussed. Whitney wasn't alone. For many black celebrities, revealing their authentic selves was a risk they weren't willing to take, fearful of the impact on both their careers and personal lives. Join us in this video to find out black celebs who died and afraid to reveal their same-sex relationship. Josephine Baker wasn't just a performer, she was a trailblazer. Born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1906 and raised in poverty, Baker overcame a harsh childhood to become a sensation. Moving to Paris in the 1920s, she captured the world with her unique dance style and charisma, famously starring in La Revue Negre. The French adored her, and she became an international icon, headlining sold-out shows at the Folies Bergère and breaking barriers for black entertainers. Beyond the stage, Baker led a life of remarkable bravery and advocacy. During World War II, she worked as a spy for the French resistance, leveraging her fame to gather intelligence against the Nazis. Later, in the United States, she was an outspoken supporter of civil rights, often refusing to perform for segregated audiences. Yet, Baker's personal life remained shrouded in mystery. Married several times and mother to 12 adopted children, she also had relationships with women, including a rumored romance with Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. However, Baker kept this aspect of her life private, understanding the risks of revealing her bisexuality in that era. She passed away in 1975, leaving behind a legacy not only as a celebrated performer, but as an icon of resilience and activism, whose influence still resonates today. Richard Pryor's life was full of contradictions that shaped him into a comedy legend. Born in 1940 in Peoria, Illinois, Pryor had an unusual upbringing, raised by his grandmother in a brothel and surrounded by chaos. He used his troubled past as fuel for his comedy, crafting stand-up routines that candidly explored his battles with addiction, mental health, and relationships, captivating audiences with raw honesty. In the 1970s and 1980s, Pryor's fame soared thanks to his fearless humor, addressing race, drugs, politics, and his own flaws without holding back. Yet, his bisexuality remained largely private. Though married 5 times, Pryor hinted at relationships with men in his comedy, blurring the line between truth and act. Years after his death, music icon Quincy Jones revealed that Pryor had a romantic relationship with actor Marlon Brando, a fact later confirmed by Pryor's widow, Jennifer Lee Pryor, who shared that he had openly discussed his bisexuality with close friends and documented these relationships in his journals. Pryor never publicly discussed his sexuality, likely due to societal pressures and fear of backlash. When he passed in 2005 after a long struggle with multiple sclerosis, he left behind a legacy that challenged social boundaries. However, while his comedy laid bare his struggles, Pryor's private life held mysteries that remain even today, leaving glimpses of his relationships with men as one of the few secrets of an otherwise unfiltered life. In the late 1970s disco scene, Sylvester was a luminous figure known for his bold style, powerful falsetto, and magnetic presence. Born in Los Angeles in 1947, he started in gospel music, singing in church choirs as a child. However, his religious background conflicted with his emerging identity, and it was only after moving to San Francisco that Sylvester found a place to fully embrace his true self within the city's vibrant LGBTQ+ community. San Francisco became the backdrop for Sylvester's rise to fame, with his hit single, "You Make Me Feel Mighty Real," resonating as an anthem of self-expression. While he was publicly open about his queerness, he kept his personal relationships private, often reflecting on the internal struggle between his conservative roots and his journey toward self-acceptance. Though his fame was short-lived, fading with the decline of disco by the early 1980s, Sylvester's influence never waned. He emerged as a passionate advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, especially as the AIDS crisis ravaged his community. Sylvester himself contracted AIDS and passed away in 1988 at 41. If you want to explore the journey with me, please leave number 1 and watch this video until the end. Interesting things are waiting for you in the video. Luther Vandross's voice was unmistakable, capturing deep emotion and soothing power that made him an R&B icon. Born in New York City in 1951, he rose to fame with hits like Never Too Much and Dance with My Father, enchanting millions and selling over 40 million records worldwide. His legacy endures as one built on love and passion, touching listeners across generations. While Vandross found immense success, he kept his private life shielded from the public eye. Unlike many stars, he was never seen in public relationships, leading to years of speculation about his sexuality. Close friends later revealed he was a gay man who chose to keep this part of his life private, partly out of concern for his fans. His close friend, Patti LaBelle, shared that Vandross feared alienating his loyal female audience, who found comfort and romance in his music, and he also wished to protect his mother from potential distress. Friend and collaborator Bruce Vilanch once recalled Vandross admitting to living a double life, hiding his true self in an industry where being openly gay, especially as a black man, carried significant risks. Vandross passed away in 2005 due to complications from a stroke, leaving a legacy of soulful music. James Baldwin was more than a writer, he was a voice for the unheard. Born in Harlem in 1924, he grew up in a strict religious household with a preacher as his stepfather. Baldwin briefly considered following the path of ministry, but his true passion lay in literature. In the 1940s, he left the United States for Paris, seeking the freedom to address race and sexuality openly, free from America's harsh judgments. Baldwin's work was groundbreaking, exploring race, sexuality, and identity with unflinching honesty. His 1956 novel, Giovanni's Room, tackled same-sex love in a way that was rare and transformative, making it a cornerstone of LGBTQ literature. Although Baldwin's writings reflected his thoughts on sexuality, he kept his private life discreet, choosing to let his characters speak for him rather than making personal declarations. Facing relentless racism and homophobia as both a black man and a gay man, Baldwin remained steadfast in his mission to speak truth to power. His bravery and eloquence continue to inspire, encouraging future generations to confront injustice. Passing away in 1987, Baldwin left a legacy that endures, with his writing as a testament to courage in the face of societal challenges, focused not on his own life, but on the broader fight for justice. Paul Winfield first gained prominence in the 1970s with his Oscar-nominated role as Nathan Lee Morgan in the 1972 drama Sounder. This performance, filled with both strength and vulnerability, won him critical acclaim and established him as one of Hollywood's leading black actors. Winfield continued to prove his talent by portraying Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1978 miniseries King. Despite his success, Winfield kept his personal life, especially his sexuality, out of the spotlight. Hollywood of the 1970s and 1980s wasn't welcoming to openly gay actors, especially black men, and Winfield navigated this reality with discretion. He maintained such privacy that he even dated his Sounder co-star Cicely Tyson for a time, deflecting speculation. Among friends, it was understood that Winfield was gay. Winfield's longest and most significant relationship was with architect Charles Gillen Jr., an interracial partnership they kept private during a time when both race and sexual orientation were sensitive topics. Charles's death in 2002 deeply affected Winfield, who was already struggling with health issues. Winfield himself passed away in 2004 from a heart attack, leaving behind a legacy of quiet resilience. Nell Carter is best known as the spirited housekeeper Nell Harper on the 1980s sitcom Gimme a Break. But her talents went well beyond that iconic role. Born in 1948, Carter first made her mark in theater, captivating audiences with her powerful voice and presence. Her performance in the Broadway musical Ain't Misbehavin' earned her a Tony Award, showcasing her vocal prowess. Despite her fame, Carter faced many personal struggles. She dealt with health issues, including diabetes and weight challenges, and endured several miscarriages before deciding to adopt, becoming a devoted mother to 3 children. Carter was married twice, but after her passing in 2003, it came to light that her closest relationship was with her longtime partner, Ann Kaiser. Ann had lived with Carter in her Beverly Hills home, sharing a bond deeper than friendship. After Carter's sudden death at age 54, it was revealed that she had left her entire estate to Ann and named her as guardian of her children. This disclosure surprised many, highlighting the depth of Ann's role in Carter's life, a relationship she had kept private but was deeply meaningful. Truman Capote captivated the American public like few others. Born in 1924, he became a literary icon with a unique storytelling style and sharp insights into human nature. His celebrated works, Breakfast at Tiffany's and In Cold Blood, remain classics that inspire readers and writers alike. Beyond his novels, Capote was known for his elite social circle, mingling with celebrities and high society figures who admired his charm and literary talent. Capote was distinguished not only by his talent, but also by his openness about his sexuality in an era when being openly gay was uncommon and often stigmatized. Embracing his identity fully, he became a beloved figure in elite circles, never hiding his relationships with men. Interestingly, some of his deepest connections were with glamorous women like Babe Paley, who inspired his unfinished novel Answered Prayers. In his later years, Capote's life was shadowed by addiction and personal struggles. His battle with substance abuse took a toll, overshadowing his final years. When he passed away in 1984 at 59, he left behind a legacy of innovative work that continues to influence American literature and culture. Sherman Hemley made television history with his role as George Jefferson on The Jeffersons, one of the first shows to feature an affluent African-American family. His portrayal of the brash and outspoken George Jefferson became iconic, earning him legions of fans during the 1970s and 1980s. Hemsley's impeccable comedic timing and larger-than-life presence made him a standout star of his era, even though his real-life personality was quite different, shy, soft-spoken, and highly private. Throughout his career, Hemsley remained unmarried and kept his personal life guarded, fueling speculation about his sexuality. Rumors circulated for years, but he never addressed them, preferring to focus on his work. After his death in 2012 from lung cancer, close friends, including actor Garrett Morris, confirmed that Hemsley had been gay and had chosen to keep this aspect of his life private. Morris, who guest starred on The Jeffersons, shared in an interview that Hemsley's inner circle had known of his sexuality but respected his desire for privacy. Hemsley's life highlights the unique challenges faced by black gay men in Hollywood, particularly during the 1970s and 1980s. His quiet strength in navigating these challenges remains an important part of his legacy. Billy Strayhorn may not be as widely known as some of his peers, but his influence on jazz is unmistakable. As Duke Ellington's right-hand man, Strayhorn was the musical mastermind behind some of Ellington's greatest hits. If you've ever listened to Take the A Train, you've experienced Strayhorn's genius. Born in 1915, Strayhorn grew up facing many hardships, but his passion for music carried him through difficult times. By the age of 23, he had joined forces with Ellington, marking the beginning of an extraordinary partnership. Strayhorn was not only a gifted composer and pianist, but also a trailblazer for LGBTQ+ individuals in the music world. In an era when being openly gay could have ended his career, Strayhorn defied expectations by living authentically within the jazz community. Although he kept a relatively low public profile, those close to him were aware of his relationships with men, and he led his life on his own terms. Sadly, Strayhorn passed away in 1967 at the age of 51 from esophageal cancer. While he may not have achieved the mainstream fame that Duke Ellington enjoyed, Strayhorn's contributions have left a lasting mark on American music. Whitney Houston was more than a star. She was an icon whose powerful voice and stunning beauty defined pop music for decades. With over 200 million records sold, 6 Grammy Awards, and hits like I Will Always Love You and Greatest Love of All, her influence on the music industry is undeniable. In 2023, Rolling Stone honored her as the second greatest singer of all time, a testament to her enduring impact on music. Yet, beneath the fame and success, Whitney's life held deep struggles. She battled drug addiction for years, a fight that ultimately led to her tragic passing in 2012. Additionally, her close bond with her best friend, Robin Crawford, sparked speculation, as the two had shared a strong connection since their teenage years. Although she was publicly linked with high-profile romances, their friendship remained a mystery to many. In 2019, Crawford's memoir revealed that their relationship had once been romantic. This connection was kept private, influenced by Whitney's Christian faith and the pressures of her public image. For a black woman in the spotlight, living openly as a queer individual was challenging in her era. Octavia Estelle Butler, a literary giant. Butler wasn't just one of the most influential black writers in science fiction, she was one of the most influential writers, period. Born in 1947, Butler forged a path in a genre that was not particularly welcoming to women, and even less so to black women. Through iconic novels like Kindred and Parable of the Sower, she broke barriers, weaving speculative fiction with profound themes of race, gender, and power. Butler was fiercely private, and this mystery extended to her personal life, sparking speculation about her sexuality. Though she never publicly identified with the LGBTQ+ community, those close to her have hinted that she may have been a lesbian. Butler's stories resonate across generations, inspiring countless writers, particularly women of color, who find in her work a powerful blueprint for storytelling in speculative fiction. Since her passing in 2006, her influence has only grown, cementing her status as a trailblazer and a literary icon whose work continues to challenge, inspire, and expand the boundaries of science fiction. Phyllis Hyman was a singer with a voice that was truly one of a kind. Her rich contralto carried a soulful depth that could stir emotions in anyone who listened. Songs like You Know How to Love Me and Living All Alone became timeless classics, securing Hyman a cherished place among R&B and jazz lovers worldwide. Her stage presence was captivating, and her music continues to leave a lasting impact on fans to this day. However, behind her powerful performances, Hyman faced profound personal struggles. She battled bipolar disorder and depression throughout her life, often turning to alcohol and drugs to cope. Despite her fame, Hyman was open about her mental health challenges, speaking candidly about the emotional turmoil she endured. Tragically, Hyman passed away in 1995, just days before her 46th birthday, leaving fans devastated. Following her death, it emerged that Hyman had been involved in relationships with both men and women, including a rumored long-term relationship with songwriter Tina Clark. Though she never publicly identified as bisexual, those close to her have suggested that her relationships with women were a meaningful part of her life. When it comes to trailblazing artists, Ma Rainey was truly a force. Known as the Mother of the Blues, Rainey was one of the first professional blues singers and among the earliest African-American artists to record her music. Born in 1886, Rainey had a rich voice, and her performances were raw, emotional, and captivating. But Rainey's legacy extends beyond her music. She was one of the first performers to openly express her attraction to women in her songs. In a time when such openness was rare, Rainey boldly sang about her love affairs with women, challenging societal norms and breaking barriers. Although she was married to a man for much of her life, she didn't hide her same-sex relationships, often incorporating them into both her music and her personal expression. Rainey's openness about her sexuality made her a trailblazer, paving the way for future generations of LGBTQ+ artists to embrace authenticity in both their lives and their art. Though she passed away in 1939, Ma Rainey's influence endures, inspiring countless musicians and reminding us of the power of courage and self-expression. Bessie Smith, lovingly known as the Empress of the Blues, was a transformative figure in American music. Born in 1894 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, she rose from poverty to become a leading force in blues during the 1920s and 1930s, a time when the genre was mostly male-dominated. With her powerful voice, songs like Downhearted Blues and Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out became timeless anthems of resilience, resonating deeply with audiences. On stage, Bessie was magnetic, captivating audiences with her commanding presence and raw emotion. She became a vaudeville sensation, known for her dramatic flair and soulful energy. As a bisexual woman in a time that was less accepting, she loved openly, forming relationships with both men and women despite societal expectations. This quiet defiance made her an early symbol of LGBTQ+ representation in the arts, living authentically in a world that often scrutinized her choices. Though her life ended prematurely in a car accident in 1937, Bessie's legacy endures. Her artistry paved the way for future musicians, inspiring artists like Janis Joplin and Nina Simone. Barbara Jordan was a groundbreaking figure in American history, known for her unwavering dedication to civil rights and her historic role in politics. Born in 1936 in Houston, Texas, she rose above the challenges of segregation to become the first African-American woman elected to the Texas Senate since Reconstruction. Her journey continued in 1972 when she joined the U.S. House of Representatives, marking a significant milestone for women and African Americans in government. Jordan's powerful oratory skills captivated the nation, especially during the Watergate hearings in 1974, where her call for President Nixon's impeachment resonated deeply. Her historic keynote speech at the 1976 Democratic National Convention further solidified her influence, making her one of the most prominent voices in American politics. In her personal life, Jordan shared a private but enduring relationship with her partner, Nancy Earl, for over 30 years. Despite her struggles with multiple sclerosis and leukemia, she remained active in public service, advocating for progressive causes until her passing in 1996. Moms Mabley was a comedy trailblazer, setting the stage for generations of female comedians with her bold humor and unfiltered honesty. Born in 1894, she rose to fame in a male-dominated comedy world, captivating audiences with her trademark look, bright dresses, a toothless grin, and sharp punchlines that tackled social issues head-on. Starting on the vaudeville circuit, Mabley infused her performances with commentary on race, gender, and relationships, eventually becoming a familiar face on TV shows like The Ed Sullivan Show in the 1960s, where her humor resonated nationwide. In her personal life, Jackie was open about her sexuality, maintaining relationships with women, a revolutionary stance at a time when being openly gay was rare. She faced the double barriers of racism and sexism in her career, but remained unstoppable, using her courage both on and off stage to break new ground for LGBTQ+ comedians. Performing into her late 70s, Mabley proved that laughter knows no age. She passed away in 1975, yet her influence lives on, inspiring comedians who admire her fearless spirit and boundary-pushing humor. Little Richard was a rock and roll icon whose flamboyant style and magnetic presence reshaped music forever. Born in 1932 in Macon, Georgia, he shot to fame in the 1950s with hits like Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. But he wasn't just another rock star, he pioneered a unique blend of gospel, rhythm and blues and rock that brought an electrifying new sound to audiences. His dynamic piano skills and exuberant performances captivated fans and inspired future legends, from Elvis Presley to Prince. Beyond his music, Little Richard was remarkable for embracing his sexuality during a conservative time. He navigated complex relationships with both men and women and used his flamboyant persona and suggestive lyrics to challenge societal norms subtly. His openness made him a quiet symbol for the LGBTQ+ community, especially significant in an era when such expression was rare. Though he took a break from music to focus on his faith, Little Richard eventually returned, cementing his place as a key figure in rock history. When he passed in 2020, he left behind an enduring influence that inspires us to live boldly and authentically. Billie Holiday, lovingly known as Lady Day, was a jazz legend whose emotive voice and depth redefined music. Born in 1915 in Philadelphia, she overcame a difficult childhood marked by poverty and hardship, finding refuge in music in the 1930s. Her distinctive style captivated audiences, and songs like Strange Fruit, which boldly confronted the horrors of racism, pushed jazz's boundaries and sparked critical conversations on social justice. Through her music, Holiday expressed both personal and societal struggles, creating a powerful legacy of resilience. Her artistry, filled with themes of heartache and strength, resonated deeply with listeners. Holiday's personal life mirrored the intensity of her music. She experienced turbulent relationships with both men and women, indicating a layered personal journey. Though she didn't openly discuss her sexuality, her romantic life hinted at a complexity and fluidity that reflected the raw emotion in her songs. Despite her incredible talent, Holiday faced lifelong battles with addiction and health issues, passing away in 1959 at just 44. Her legacy, however, lives on. Bayard Rustin was an often overlooked hero of the civil rights movement, known for his remarkable organizing skills and dedication. Born in 1912, Rustin was the architect behind the 1963 March on Washington, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. While he committed his life to equality, Rustin also faced discrimination for his sexuality. In a time when being openly gay was rarely accepted, he chose to live authentically, enduring both societal and personal challenges. Rustin's strategic vision, intelligence, and talent for uniting diverse groups made him indispensable to the movement, though he often stayed out of the spotlight due to prevailing biases. Beyond civil rights, he advocated for social justice, labor rights, and peace. His full contributions only began to gain recognition after his death in 1987, as more people came to understand the depth of his impact. Today, Rustin is honored as a pioneer for civil rights and LGBTQ+ visibility. His life reminds us that true courage lies in fighting for justice while embracing one's identity.
Thank you for watching my video. There are many other interesting things in the next videos. Please look forward to it. Thank you and goodbye.